Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am doing this voiceover today, FYI, with the windows open because it is a cool 70 degrees here and I got all the windows open. So if you hear nature in the background, just enjoy it. But today we are gonna make a fall Halloween inspired milk jar button bouquet like I'm showing you here. These are the ones I have left over from spring, summer that didn't sell. These are all up in my Etsy shop. I probably have at least 15 of these left in my Etsy store. So this is the vibe we're going for, but we're going to make it fall theme. So I keep my buttons, which I pick up at any kind of thrift store or vintage or estate sale, and I organize them by color in this. This is actually supposed to hold tea bags, but it works perfect to hold my buttons. So I just pulled some fall, like darker toned colors. And this is what I chose so far. A little later I end up picking out some more because just different sizing and shapes, but they're really unique. I almost always pick up buttons. If I see a mason jar of buttons at an estate sale or a thrift store, I'm gonna grab it. I just love all of the unique different shapes and colors, and some of them are really, really pretty cool. Like, I feel like buttons don't get enough attention. Like, they're pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a nerdy craft girl. That's really probably what it is. But nonetheless, I use this floral wire. I believe I picked this up at Walmart. I almost said Walgreens. Walmart. It's like a few dollars and it's going to last a lifetime. I think there's like, I don't even know how many feet are in there. But I cut at least like 6 inches. 5 to 6 inches, because you're going to fold it in half and twist it like this one is here. So you want to have enough so that you have enough length. And I always start longer so that when you stick it in the floral foam like this, you have, if you need to trim some, you can. So this is the milk glass cold cream jar. It's actually Jergens. And this is probably from the 50s. And it was made by Hazel Atlas. See that little HA with the A under the H? That is Hazel Atlas glass, which is from like the 30s, 40s, 50s. So I'm just going to show you guys how I make these little button flowers. And then we cluster them together to make like a little bouquet. This is whatever makes your heart pitter patter, whatever colors you want to use, shapes you want to use. It's kind of like putting puzzle pieces together. You just have to play around with it and see what works. You definitely want to try and use 2 different size buttons so that you have a contrast where you almost create a border around the smaller one on top. And then obviously you want to build it from smallest on top to biggest. The most I've stacked together is 3 buttons. Even though buttons are lightweight, some of the bigger ones can be a little bit heavier, and this is very thin wire, so it will topple over. So I thread it through, and then as you see, I gave it a little twist. 1 or 2 twists is fine, and then I'm going to put my larger button and thread that through. And I kind of do it, I don't do the 2 holes that are next to each other. I do the holes that are kitty corner from each other, if that makes sense, like a diagonal. And I feel like that just anchors the button in the center better than having it twist or be to one side. And then I give that a twist, and then I will twist the wire all the way down. And then you have your little stem and it's ready to go. So I'll put a bunch of these together, and then I will come back when I've got a decent amount put together, and then we'll start our assemblage. Okay, so here are quite a few that I've put together, and I just kind of throw them in some other milk jars. I'm actually going to make 3 of these today. I'm going to make one entire one on camera and then the other 2 off camera. And I just stick them in there, and just they look, it's kind of a nice way to see how they're all going to lay out together a little bit. So I have some big buttons that I only just did the one, um, and we're going to put it together. So this is however you want to lay it out. I tend to typically do, this is a larger jar, so this is going to take a lot of buttons because I like a full bouquet. If you like it more sparse, that's totally up to you. Whatever you like. There's no rules here. Um, so I decided I want to go with like kind of the browns and oranges and blacks. And so I'm clustering those together, and then I'm going to just start sticking them in the floral foam. I did not glue this floral foam into the jar. It's packed in there, so it's not going anywhere. I put my biggest one in the center, and then I kind of make a circle around the bigger one with the smaller button clusters until I have it where I want it. And the beauty about this is, you can stick them in and out of the floral foam and rearrange them however you want. And then because they're on the wire, you can really manipulate the wire and bend them to be facing a certain direction, or if you want them all up or down, what have you. So once you have them where you want them, I'm going to go through and put the moss down. Now, you might be thinking, well, why didn't I put the moss down first? I find it's easier to put my flowers in before the moss than trying to fight the moss and try and stick through the hot glue as well. So put your flowers in first, and then just glue around. The wires and stuff are easily movable. It's not, you're not going to disturb anything. And I alternated the green and the kind of beigey neutral moss color. I liked how those played together in here. And I just make my way around, and I'm just making sure that I'm covering up all of the floral foam so that you can't see it. So I've had this bat pick sitting on, you might have seen it in some of my previous videos, sitting in the background waiting to be used for something, and I finally found something to use it for. I also have these foam or styrofoam mushrooms. I got a whole box of these from Temu in different colors, and I don't want that stark white of the stem showing, so I'm just putting some antiquing wax on it. And I know a lot of this is not going to stick. I really just want it to dull down the color. So now we're going to add something to the outside of the jar, and I'm going to use an IOD transfer, iron on orchid designs. This is the ephemeral pack. I'm going to use this tiny little label here. It's bigger than that. That's just an overview. So here's the label. You just cut out what you want. And there is a backing. If you've never used these, there's a backing and it peels off like a sticker. So I'm just making sure before I actually peel it off that this is what I want and that it's looking right, and that it's going to work for this area of the jar. And then once I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to peel off the white backing, and then that side that's left there is a little tacky, so it sticks. And it's nice, it has grid paper overlaying it so you can make sure your image is straight. I did the little finger method to make sure it was the same, like in the middle on each side. So I just put an index finger on each side. And once you're happy with that, I kind of smooth it down, and then you take each one of their packs comes with this plastic stick, and this is what you use to rub the transfer onto your surface. So you're just gonna rub, 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 until it starts to lift. And then you do what they call the waterfall method, where you lift up the overlay paper plastic and pull it up as you are pressing down until it is all the way off. And if you feel like it's not pulling up, just lay it back down and rub a little bit more. And then I'm going to take my favorite antiquing wax and just give it a little age so it doesn't look so stark white, or it looks a little older. And then I am, for a last little bit, gonna add some ribbon. I got this at Joann's, these, again, when they were closing out, so I got this for super cheap. And I'm gonna go with this, it's like a gray, green, smoky, green-gray. I really love, these are really like luxurious, like velvet ribbons. They're really nice. So I'm gonna wrap this all the way around, and it's gonna just pull the whole thing together. So I decided it was missing something. So I busted out my little, I think they're putka shells that basically look like pumpkins. And we're just gonna nestle this in right in the front, and she will be complete. Let me know what you guys think of this. I feel like this is something that would be sitting in an apothecary cabinet in the set of Practical Magic. I don't know. But this is the final look. Um, it's hard not to keep this one. I want to keep all my crafts, let's be honest. But I can't keep them all. And I've crafted so much for myself already, that I just, love making them. So I've got more coming out for you guys. I'm not done with Halloween. I know other crafters are done with Halloween and they're moving on to Christmas. Not this girl. I got a few more in store. I'll see you in the next one.